As farmers and ranchers visit the fair, one topic often comes up with lawmakers: property taxes. Here's more from Senator Kurt Friesen as he joined us at the fair.
What are people asking you about out here at the fair if they bump into you? Hey, I recognize you.
Right.
I want to talk to you about. Is it property taxes? Is that what they're wanting to know about?
Most people really do kind of treat you good and don't hit you up about anything very often. But if they do, it's property taxes, number one.
What's the answer there?
Right.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm still, before I was elected, I started with this, and it's how we fund K through 12.
Yeah.
And being so dependent on property taxes to fund K through 12 education, we've got to find a different way to do it. There has to be more equitable state aid across the state. We spend about $1 billion a year in state aid, but none of that comes to like District 34. None of that equalization aid comes there. There's about 170 schools that receive no equalization aid, and yet we're spending $1 billion a year. So we've got to figure out a different way of funding K through 12 is my focus.
Can you foresee this going to the ballot for the voters to decide?
I can. People are angry. I mean, we've talked about this issue for 30 years. It's gotten really bad with the increased valuation in ag and the shift that's happened there. I mean, if I look at just the increase in value that ag land has had, if it would have just traditionally gone up at about 5% a year, I think is the average. And so if it would have been that versus what happened, we've actually saved the state $166 million last year in state aid in CHIOSA formula. That's the amount that basically was shifted to ag in 1 year.
Wow. How do you get urban lawmakers on board on this one, Senator? What do you think?
Well, I think the urban homeowners, you've got the same thing basically happening now. You've got young people maybe that came and bought a house. They maxed out their loan. They borrowed and bought the best house they could get. And now their property taxes are shooting up. And they were at the point of being on a two-wage income and rather fixed maybe, and now they can't maybe afford that house. So it's an urban issue as well as an ag issue now.
Do you think it's safe to say that last year's legislative session kind of stalled? And how are you going to do things different this year? Get more things done?
Well, it did stall, but if you look back, I think every year, the first year I was there, we stalled out on, I think it was the cost of a marriage license that counties could charge, and we wasted a full filibuster on that.
I think I remember that.
I think
There's always something.
There's always something that Senator Chambers or somebody wants to pick an issue with. We've talked about dry beans, the checkoff.
All right.
Spent a full filibuster on that. Some small topics consume a lot of time sometimes.
Still to come, young cowboys and cowgirls get their start at the state fair. Weather is up next.